Cheers.
I'm looking at
This
it.
chair is
No,
made
not
for
Steve's,
humans.
but yeah.
All three.
Get a different chair. You want the one in the bedroom? Get the big one.
What it's made for?
It's made for.
It's made for humping.
It's made for.
It's actually, we have two more mother humpers.
Script read
Two
through,
more mother
Halloween
humpers.
Retold, January
I watched that,
25th.
like, 2 days.
He did. Yeah, because he was falling asleep in it. Dion said he didn't talk to Lance anymore. He didn't even know if Justin didn't play with Lance anymore.
Is that fun?
Yeah, you know, Lance was spending a lot of time in Cali,
Yeah.
and then with the baby, and then he had a baby, like, the baby, I literally have talked to him, he had a baby.
Well, guys, when you guys talk, don't be afraid to talk loud, okay? Because the camera has got to hear you. If you feel like the music is too loud, I'm gonna keep it low. I'm gonna make sure that when you guys are talking, you know, that the music is, people can hear it, but it's not gonna be that loud,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
All right, so,
So it's not loud, so John's neighbors complain?
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, where's the waiver to
They
sign?
haven't complained in 16 years about this. They're not gonna start now.
So
He's got
guys,
good neighbors. He's got good neighbors.
the reason I sat down to write this script was because I had just come back from seeing Halloween Kills, and I said, holy shit, I said to myself, what are they doing? This is like the 12th movie in like 40-something years, and I says, I like what they did with Michael Myers, but they're not really doing too much with the other characters. I says, I don't, you never really know who Sam Loomis is in the original Halloween movies. You know what he's doing. He's trying to stop Michael Myers, but you don't know who he is. And I said to myself, well, for 13, 12 movies, whatever, they've been concentrating on this killer who stalks primarily women. I mean, he kills everybody, but he primarily stalks women, whether it's his sister or teenagers or whatever. I says, what if we shifted that into a more mature type of thing, and we concentrate on two characters I really liked in the original movie, Loomis and Brackett. I says, what if Loomis and Brackett were like an old 80s buddy cop thing, and they got together and they tried to stop, Michael Myers. What would that be like? And then my brother had always told me, I want to play Dr. Loomis. I want to play the new Dr. Loomis. So I said to myself, well, he likes Dr. Loomis. Well, I'll just write this script for him, and when he turns 50, I'll give it to him, because it's his 50th birthday. So that was the impetus for it. First, if I could make something fresh and new with Halloween, because we'd seen, like I said, 13 movies. And also, because John loves the character so much, I figured, well, I'll write this, And the script turned out way better than I thought it could be. It's full of surprises. If anyone is like bored, please, I mean, you shouldn't be bored. You're gonna see things and hear things in this that, is gonna be like, wow, didn't know Michael Myers could do that. Well, he can in this particular script. So yeah, a lot of the beginning is completely out of the novelization by Curtis Richards. So the prologue and the prelude, you're gonna see in 978 AD Ireland, and then in 1978 Haddonfield. All of that is straight out of the novel. I don't know why they never put that in a movie, but it's great stuff. The dialogue, the characters, everything. I think the reason John Carpenter said was he didn't think it was scary enough if you knew why Michael Myers was doing the killing and that. I disagree. I think it's scary if you don't know how he's going to do what he's going to do next. That's what's always frightening to me. It's not that he's killing people, but how is he going to do it? So we'll have a little bit of a talk afterwards, but right now, I would like to thank everybody for coming to do this. On behalf of my brother John and I, Mr. Lebowski is going to be our fearless narrator. So thank you, sir. This is a big, big, big job. If you get tired and you need a break, tell us. Me or Mike can take over. We'll do 10 pages, and then you can come back. Has everyone got enough water to drink? Everyone good?
Water.
Agua.
Oh, all right. Okay, without any further ado, then let's start. Go ahead, Mr. Lebowski. You can start reading.
Alright. We fade in, Ireland, a hillside, at dark of night, 978 AD, October 31st. A great bonfire is lit by a Celtic farmer, as many more gather around to feel the warmth. We pull back to show a hillside of daub and wattle huts littering the countryside speckled with many cave openings as well. Tents and cooking spits are also set up as the gathering people busily prepare food among the muddy green land of the Celts. These people are poor, but they are hardy. Deirdre, 16, sandy brown hair, sea green eyes, creamy skin, complexion skips lively among the activity. In a rose-colored red dress, she carries a clay pitcher. You have
Point of view.
point of view. Enda, behind a hut, watches her skip by, breathes heavily. Enda, 15, tall but gaunt, with one shriveled arm smaller than the other and a cleft lip. He looks all but normal were it not for these two deformities. He steps out from behind the hut and slowly follows her off into the forest trail littered with autumn leaves.
Farmer?
Edna, leave that Deidre be. We all know she'd be betrothed to Coolian. Now hurry along and gather wood boy.
Enda looks to the farmer, his mouth twitching, but no words forming. He raises his hands and shrugs pathetically.
She would just as soon marry our goat than you.
Enda?
Enda frowns and peers at the trail Deirdre has disappeared onto. Hesitating briefly, he then races down the trail after the young girl as the farmer chases after him.
Edna, come back, Edna.
But both Enda and Deirdre had disappeared off the forest trail and onto the foliage. With no sign of either, the farmer slowly shrinks back and then hastily retreats. The stream, moments later, Deirdre is kneeling at the stream, filling her pitcher with water, and Enda watches from far behind, darting from tree to tree to close in on her position.
Deidre?
You again? Now what do you want?
I want to.
She turns her head on him cruelly.
Please, just turn around and look at me.
He reaches out with his gimp hand extended pathetically. Deirdre turns back, this time her eyes wide with panic. Gasps as she jumps back with revulsion, nearly falling into the stream. She opens her mouth to show rotten teeth.
No! Get away from me, monster!
Enda reaches for her as she narrowly finds her feet and races past him, spilling the water in the pitcher.
Help! Help! He means to rape me!
Enda watches her run away and recoils at the realization it was his own deformed arm that scared her away. A tense moment, he remains still, and we pull into his tortured face. An expression of fear and loathing begins to grow. The hillside summit, the Celts dancing and whirling about to primitive folk music before one of the many bonfires. The closer they get to the fire, the wilder, more exuberantly their bare feet pound and step away at the mud up to the grass. There's a frenzy of dancers laughing. The hillside perimeter. Enda stoops low, hidden from view behind a large bush. He holds a fat wineskin in one hand, from which he gulps down. In his good hand, he holds a foot-long butcher blade. His eyes watch the dance of the handsome Cullian, 18, Deirdre whirling and dancing to the immense approval of the tribe. Clapping, laughter, and merriment ensues. Deirdre and Cullen entwine and begin to twirl together. The couple pirouette off to the side of the bonfire and embrace near the bush where Enda is hiding. The blade glints light off the bonfire as it connects with Cullian's white throat. In one quick swoop as Enda is upon both. Their elbows link, Cullian's feet kick out as he falls backwards, blood spluttering out from his mouth and through the hole in his neck. He pulls Deirdre with him, who still has not realized what is happening. Like a slaughtered animal, Cullian hits the muddy earth and Deirdre lands on top of him. She sees the blood and screams, attempting to get back up. Enda stands above her and slams the blade down into her bosom. Deirdre exhales blood as Enda watches her gasp in shock. He briefly smiles before an onrush of deafening human chatter is upon him. The entire tribe shocked and enraged, engulfing the madman before he can escape. In the morning, On the Hill of Fiends, see Enda's severed head is being pressed onto a wooden stake by a Kingsman guard. His heart is also staked next to it. Many stand by in the background as old shaman gains attention by riding up on a white stallion and dismounting front and center. The guard takes his horse away.
Go ahead, John.
Unprovoked murder of his third and youngest daughter here at the summit of the Hill of Friends. I, Druid Shaman Winnow, pronounce a special curse over the foul
My version was different.
remains of Enda, the murderer. The crowd grows tense as he speaks. The curse of Thorn. The crowd gasps. May thy soul roam the earth till the end of time. For what curse is greater, reliving thy foul deeds and thy foul punishment? His remains are to not unblessed, and may the god Mik-Ola visit every devourer of children. The sky darkens and lightning flash subtly in the far distance.
Okay,
Snowflakes.
narrator, go. Narrator.
Slow-faced descend from the cold autumn skies. The farmers and villagers turn away from the Hill of Fiends. We hold on to the one farmer who warned Edna not to follow Deidre. He looks to his shivering and bereaved wife, being cradled by her eldest son, CN 21.
Farmer.
Our boy is cursed for all of eternity.
She cries into her other son's shoulder. He looks away as the snow begins to fall, swirling.
Keep reading.
Okay. Apparently a familiar theme begins to throb over the soundtrack slowly and ominously. We rise up over the countryside and witness the snowing over of legendary Stonehenge monument. The title appears out of the snow, gathering speed and forming white bleeding out red letters. Halloween Retold. Midwest Street Afternoon, Haddonfield, Illinois, 1978, October 31. The Myers residence, your basic white picket fence house. Trick-or-treaters litter the street as warm glow of autumn day reminds us of the fun and innocence of the holiday. Inside a house, older feminine hands grip a Woolworth Halloween costume box with a bright red clown title across the top of a circular cellophane lid showcase a smiling white face clown mask.
Grandma.
Where?
Edith Myers.
Oh, that's right. What's this supposed to be?
A clown, Grandma.
A clown?
We cut to young Michael Myers, 7 years old, innocent, smiling face, as he looks across the table of his grandmother, Edith Cotrane, 65, in nurse scrubs, silver hair, worn. Deborah Myers, 37, a younger variation of Edith, quickly pours a pitcher or tea into her mom's mug.
Now, Mother, I know what you're gonna say, but it's not like it used to be.
Edith sips her tea and glances across the table at Michael, who appears to be the happiest kid on the planet.
Edith.
Of course, it's not what it used to be. It's far darn worse. We never had that 5 and dime junk when we grew up on the farm. We took Halloween seriously. Wasn't it?
When we set up.
She nods to Michael earnestly.
When we set up scarecrows or jack-o'-lanterns, it was because we were genuinely trying to scare off him.
Him? Who's him?
I don't think Michael wants to hear this. It may give him bad dreams.
Nothing wrong with bad dreams. At least they remind us that not everything is hunky-dory in the world. Lord, everything is so clean and phony nowadays.
Deborah picks up a Life magazine and glares at her mother.
Grandma, who is him?
Well, it's the boogeyman, of course.
Mother!
What did the boogeyman do?
Now, he played real pranks. He did some real damage. His tricks you never forget, for he did not go around tossing eggs or soaping up windows. So if you were lucky, you got away with nothing worse than finding some of your chickens beheaded.
Unheaded?
Beheaded, yes.
Beheaded?
Their heads cut off. If you weren't so lucky, you maybe lost a cow or two.
Were the heads just lying there next to the cows? Or
Mother, that will be enough, really.
Deborah tosses her magazine down on the table and gets up.
Well, I suppose it's time for me to go, but I'm sure you will have fun tonight.
Mikey, why don't you go get dressed?
okay, Mama. Happy Halloween, Grandma.
Michael takes a clown box costume and kisses his grandmother. He quickly bounds up the stairs to his room.
I don't want you telling him that superstitious drunk anymore. He's been having enough problems without the addition of this nonsense.
Nonsense. What's it about problem?
Edith begins to pack up her stuff as Deborah grabs her coat. They both walk to the front door as if Deborah urgently wishes her mother would just leave.
He's getting into fights at school. Trouble with Judith at home here, and bedwetting, which he hasn't done in years now.
Fighting about what?
Mother, can't we just forget?
They stop at the front door as Edith turns dead serious.
No, we can't. Not what kind of trouble is that boy in?
Voices, okay? Here's voices.
Oh, little Lord Jesus, I am afraid to ask what these voices say.
She touches herself to the cross on the chain.
He says they tell him to do things like, I hate people. John thinks maybe we ought to send him to someone.
I don't put much stock in psychiatrists myself, but I don't suppose it can hurt. But we have to face up to it, child. That is how it started with my father's father.
Mother, all children hear imaginary voices, have imaginary friends. It's normal and natural. He's not like Grandpa O'Haraway. He didn't even go there. Oh, so don't even go there.
A tense moment between the two women as they lean towards one another. Something unspoken rising. Something hidden.
Ding dong.
They snap out of the trance and Deborah opens the door to some trick-or-treaters as Edith adjusts her long coat and scarf.
Trick or treat, smell my feet, give us something good to eat.
Deborah hands out some candy as Edith notices Michael coming down the stairs dressed as his clown.
It's supposed to be a little baggy,
He picks up his plastic pumpkin.
as long as I don't trip.
Grandma's boy.
He pulls a mask over his head.
I'm not going to play pranks. I'm just gonna ask for candy. I promise.
You do that, child. You just have an innocent Woolworth kind of Halloween.
Deborah finishes with the trick-or-treaters as her mother pushes past her through the door.
Mom, please call me when you get home.
I will, don't worry. You and John have fun tonight.
She leaves for her car, a 1977 green Oldsmobile. Deborah shuts the door and turns to look at her son. She smiles and puts her hands on her hips as if to say, wow. Michael holds up both hands as if to say, ta-da.
What do you think, Mom?
I think it's gonna be your best Halloween yet. Judith, will you take him Judith, will you take... One more time. Judith, will take you trick-or-treating, and then you will both back... Then you are both back here for the night.
Can I stay up late and watch the scary movies Dr. Demento is on?
It's a school night. Plus, you'll have nightmares. You never watch those kind of movies.
Sure I do.
He laughs and races back up the stairs at a furious pace. Deborah pauses and realizes something's up. She trembles over ever so slightly. At the Myers home 1 hour later, at night, kids throwing toilet paper on a tree can be seen. John Myers, 39, a very average-looking man, and Deborah are preparing to leave. Judith Myers, 17, and saucy sits at the table doing her nails, bright orange and black.
Damn kids, I bet you there's Lonnie out there.
Phone number is on the fridge. Oh, wait, let me do that again. Phone pound sign is on the fridge. We are at the Brennan's. Should be home before midnight. You know how Krista just loves to celebrate. Judith, are you listening to me? Absolutely no boys in the house while we are gone. Judith, look up from the nail polish and...
Judith Deirdre.
She
No,
stares
there's a
her.
beat there.
She stares her daughter down. Judith looks up from her nail polish and sulks.
I heard you.
Well, I know you and you've been known to push the boundaries of my house rules. So,
Dad!
I'm together with your mother on this one. No boys.
Debbie grabs up her purse and places her masquerade mask across her face. Her husband John has a 10-gallon cowboy hat on.
Thanks, Dad.
well, how do we both look?
Terrible. Like, what are you even supposed to be?
Deborah and John smile briefly and break from their costume pose.
Forget it. Have fun with Mikey. Mwah. Oh, and honey, finish carving the that, please.
She points to the nearly finished jack-o'-lantern on the kitchen table. She throws her daughter a kiss as they both leave through the front door.
Have fun, indeed.
She smiles to herself. Michael comes running down the stairs, and this time he is with the other boys who dress as a jail prisoner, the other Dracula.
We're all ready to go.
Terrific. So you, Larry, and Curly can go. I give you my permission and blessing.
Yes, but Mom said you have to take me.
I know what Mom said, but you have my permission to go with your two neighbor buddies.
It's a rare moment between brother and sister. He looks to her, astonished, yet sad.
You mean it?
Sure, I mean it. You're almost 8, right?
Thanks, Judith.
He and his two buddies are out the door. He stops briefly and looks back to her.
Wait a minute, what about you? Don't you want to trick or treat and have fun too?
Don't worry about me. Fun is my middle name.
Lifting his mask, Michael stares back at her furtively.
Candy's a-waitin'.
He pulls down his mask and slams the door behind him. She puts down her nail polish and quickly races over to grab the telephone on the wall, giddy with excitement. On a street at night, Michael and his two friends, Joey and Ricky, are walking house to house. Other kids pass them, some in original costumes, others have generic store-bought. The air is ripe with sounds and chatter. Wind whirls slowly as leaves fall at their feet. There's a peacefulness to the scene.
I can't wait to see what the Elrons give us.
A deep breathing permeates the soundtrack and all other effects quiet.
And I betcha it'll be caramel apples for sure.
The breathing suddenly shifts into a deeper atonal voice, sinister.
You need to do as I say. You know what you need to do. You take out your knife.
Michael stops and places his hands on his ears. He shakes his head, loud, discordant, ringing.
Are you okay, Mikey?
The three of them stop, breathing. Michael's breathing.
I'm okay. I'm good. It's just nothing.
The soundtrack comes back to normal as the ringing ends. Michael lifts his arms, scratches at the strange mark on his forearm. It looks like something burned faintly into his skin. This is the same runestone mark we saw earlier, the mark of thorn. Dracula, Joey, and the prisoner, Ricky, lead on as Michael adjusts his costume. We pull in close to a tiny red Swiss Army knife protruding just so slightly from the back of his blue jeans pocket. Myers' house living room at night. Danny Ferrand's 18 with long 70s sideburns, and Judith both land on the sofa in a tither of laughter and joy, exuberant, embracing one another like two fools in love. The tall, muscular boy lifts her dainty, beautiful shape up in front of him as she straddles him.
Not so fast, mister. We have until midnight, which means we are going to take our time tonight. After all, we've been planning this for almost a month. If you would have gotten here at 7, Michael will probably be back soon.
But these pills cost like $15 a piece. Oh, that's not the line. Oh, so we just ignore him, right? He can watch TV.
The TV plays Abbey Costello meet Frankenstein behind them.
Either.
Judith rises from the couch, teasingly saunters over to the kitchen table. She plops a tall black witch hat on her head and takes a carving knife from the sink and holds it above her head.
Hey, don't fool around with that knife.
Shall I cut your whatchamajiggy off? I do think that's what I'm going to do, my pretty.
That's not funny. You can hurt someone.
Judith lowers the knife and points to the pumpkin.
I have to finish this first. Or maybe you can finish it. Carve its mouth.
She turns him around and guides him to the table as he begins to carve out a curved smile, the final piece of the jack-o'-lantern.
This is gonna be the fastest carving job ever.
Danny Ferrens, we have time this evening. Make it last, you bozo.
Myers' house, outer window, later. Michael stands outside the low kitchen window and peers through it. He can see his sister and Danny slowly swaying as they dance to soft music on TV. He watches curiously. Through his clown mask, a small streak of blood appears on his hand as he scratches the back of his head. He continues to watch as they go up the stairs. Myers' house, back door. Michael enters the house and nears the table. The jack-o'-lantern is now glowing bright as its candle has been lit within. He lifts the top cover off by the stalk and blows it out. The wick smokes. He notices the carving knife. He takes the Swiss Army knife out of his pocket. It is closed but covered in grime, hair, and grit. He deposits it on the table along with his heavy plastic pumpkin filled with candy and other strange, oddly shaped things.
You know what you must do.
Michael picks up the knife and touches the blade. Judith's bedroom. Judith is on her bed with Danny on top of her. They are still clothed but trying to finagle out of jeans and tops. Outside Judith's door, just then, Michael stands with his back to the wall. He places his ear to the door and tries to listen through the thin wood. Judith's bedroom, on the bed. We pull in close on Judith's face, now naked under the covers with Danny on top of her.
So this is what it's like to do it in bed?
Fade out, blink in. Digital clock, 11:45 p.m. Judith wakes up next to Danny dreamily. She caresses his hand and arm. She lifts it around her neck.
Doze off a bit there.
She looks to her clock.
Oh my God, Danny, wake up. It's almost midnight.
He wakes up and gasps.
Come on, get up. Get dressed, it's late. Jumped up to put the robe on. Oh my God, it's late. Where's Michael? This was not supposed to happen.
I'm sorry I fell asleep.
Just move it.
Within seconds, they are out of the room and down the stairwell. She scrambles to get him out to the door, stopping to embrace at the front foyer. He looks at her lovingly, long kiss.
Call me tomorrow.
You betcha.
He races away into the night air. Judith slams the door behind her and sighs. The TV plays quietly in the next room. Dr. Demenza's all-night Halloween movie marathon can be seen advertised on screen.
Mikey, where are ya? Michael? So not cool, Mikey. Michael?
No sign of him in the living room, just the TV. She looks upstairs.
He must be asleep in his room.
Michael's room. Judith opens the door and sees the bed is fully made, neat and clean. No sign of Michael. She looks around, becoming frantic.
Michael? He can't still be outside.
She moves to the window, which is open slightly. She opens it and peers through it outside to the backyard and a swing set.
Where is this kid?
The bedroom door slams shut. She turns to see her brother standing in front of the door, still fully dressed in a clown costume, mask and all. He's holding something behind his back.
Oh my God, Michael, there you are. I was so worried.
The small shape looks at her, yet doesn't move.
Did you just get home? Where were you? What happened?
The shape refuses to budge. As she moves forward him, we hear the wind rush through the wide open window, and it blows the curtains around her as if she is a billowing cloud. The shape moves slowly towards the camera.
Michael? Answer me. Will you answer me?
The shape slowly pulls the large carving knife from behind his back. He walks forward like a robot.
Hey, you can hurt someone with that thing.
The shape reaches the camera, his entire clown mask face blotting out all the light until it is complete darkness.
Michael, this is a joke. Michael!
Blink out. A hallway. Moments later, Judith's bedroom door opens. The shape with his bloody knife walks out into the hallway. His arms are huddled, carrying something. We cut to his small shoes smearing blood on the floor as he takes a few steps. He drops something tiny and pink. He continues to walk down the hall, down the steps, dropping tiny objects. We pull on one of the objects. It appears to be a bloody finger with the orange-black fingernail polish. He continues to drop Judith's severed fingers, all 10, as he reaches the main floor of the house. Then we turn around the kitchen corner, makes its way out the front door. The driveway, Myers' house. John and Deborah exit the car, laughing and huddled together romantically. They appear to be slightly tipsy, but not drunk.
So why don't we give this Dr. Loomis a call tomorrow? He's so good, as they say. If he's as good as they say he is.
I'm not worried in the least bit, honey. Do I look worried? Nope.
They turn and see Michael in his clown costume sitting on their front porch step. Both of them sober up immediately.
Son, what you doing out here so late?
Michael places his knife down calmly beside him on the front stoop. Deborah regards this and looks to her husband dumbfoundedly.
Is this, what do you have?
They freeze and hold still as he takes something from inside of his costume. We zoom in on something large and gooey and gory. He lifts up the bloody heart of his sister and offers it innocently to both parents, with both tiny childlike hands covered in blood. Screams rise in the soundtrack as a cacophony of music hurls us. The clinic, daytime title, 6 years later, Haddonfield Correctional Clinic. Dr. Sam Loomis, 38, exits a small gray Lumina car. He is dressed in a long tan trench coat and has a ponytail behind a bald shaven head. He also has a beard and mustache that would make any dwarf proud. He makes his way into the clinic with his back briefcase and an umbrella. Sanitarium entrance. Loomis opens the double doors and crosses the front desk. We glide with him as we take a side point of view from his head level into a long tracking shot that follows him. He greets fellow workers and doctors as he passes by several corridors. He stops at an elevator and gets inside. The camera continues to stay with him as he waits for the elevator to reach his floor. The doors open and he gets out, walking along a darker and more subdued hallway. This is the lockdown level, we read as he passes several warning signs and has to stop at various checkpoints in which guards let him through, and he continues his walk. Finally, he reaches a single cell door. He stops and looks through the window, and then uses a touchpad on the outer door. He walks through the doorway and into a cell plainly marked Michael Audrey Myers. He grabs a chart off the bedside and regards it softly. He places his briefcase down, and for the first time, we see the 13-year-old boy lying in bed. Sedated with a drip on his arm, we finally cut to Loomis's face close up.
Ah, good morning, Michael. So are we going to be speaking today?
Stares at him. Michael, turning his head mechanically, regards Loomis. He then turns his gaze back to straight ahead.
There you are, back to that blank stare. Very aloof, very cool, very detached. Always, always, always so methodical.
He sits down.
You might have fooled the judge, Michael. You might have fooled the other doctors here. You may have even fooled your own family.
Leans forward.
But you have not fooled me. And I know you can hear me right now. So know this, I will make it my goal in life to have you kept here, to have you locked away for as long as you live, Michael, so help me God.
Every Day is Halloween by Mystery begins to play as the screen starts to scroll through a barrage of images, times and dates from left to right. December 1978. Judge Cad, 57, burly Middle Eastern man. Behind his pulpit, he sits amid a throne and bangs his gavel.
It is my finding and in the court's decision that young Michael Aubrey Myers is not guilty. The murder of his sister, one Judith Deidre Myers, and the murder of the two neighborhood boys, Joy Chappelle and Richie Rosendahl. We will catch this killer and bring them to justice. This poor young boy witnessed horrible crimes and will undeniably need care and consultation for years to come. This court recommends him to the service of Dr. Samuel Loomis and Dr. Daniel Chalice. He is to be evaluated every 6 months and then brought before me when he comes out of his catatonia. This court stands.
Gavel beats. Michael's parents look on, frightened from behind. The young boy nearly smiles as he stares, stone-faced, past Dr. Loomis, who shakes his head despondently. Haddonfield Child Correctional Clinic, morning, October 1979.
He's not catatonic, he's faking that. And there is the matter of Gilden, the local bully.
Gilden, age 10, buzzed, crew cut, all rough and sinewy. He turns the salt shaker at a cafeteria table so it is loose as a goose. We then cut to Michael, age 8, about to salt his food. The shaker drops off onto his scrambled eggs and floods his food with salt. Gilden laughs at the other table. The other young boys.
Michael didn't think it was so funny. Later that night, Gilden came down with the worst case of food poisoning. He had to have his stomach pumped.
You can see Gilden in agony, twisting and turning in his bed. He retches violently, but no violent vomit.
And you think Michael is responsible? I understand he could be dangerous from what he witnessed, so we will keep him at the facility. But seriously.
Judge, I can prove it. I don't know how the boy did it, but I know he did it.
We can't go on hunches. I need more than this, and you damn well know it.
Michael at Sanitarium Halloween Party, Halloween, 1981. Clinic gymnasium room at night. A thunderclap hits. Decorated for a small Halloween party, several kids are now being supervised by both nurses and doctors. Loomis stands watch, eagle-eyed from a corner. Michael sits completely still and quiet. Nearby, the group in a pirate costume. He watches the party. Kids are dunking for apples at a large window barrel. He notices a girl. The lights suddenly go out. We hear people scrambling.
Don't panic. The emergency lights will kick on. It's just the storm outside.
Seconds go by as the lights are turned back on. People screaming. Daniela, a 10-year-old cute girl, is lying face down. Her head submerged in the barrel. Loomis races over to pull the girl's drowned head out of the barrel and quickly looks back to Michael. He sits poised as if he hasn't moved. We pull on his face. A tiny smirk almost starts to appear. Loomis and an orderly give Daniela CPR and she quickly comes to spitting water out as she coughs and cries. Loomis looks back to Michael. He knows.
Dr. Chalice?
How in God's name is he doing this? We're gonna have to put him in lockdown. If it's him, I mean, this has got to stop.
October 1985. Pictures of red burn scars on a boy's arm and back float across the scene as we dissolve to the washroom bath day. Dr. Daniel Chalice, 40, prim chili gray, mustached. Dr. Loomis stand in the showers, empty, dry.
He got the water to scald the boy, and he was never even in the room.
The pipes, what? Are you sure about this?
We don't have time to argue, Dr. Chalice. He's hurting anyone who does not submit to his will. And may I remind you that every single Halloween there is another incident.
Courthouse steps, Haddonfield Courthouse. Peer review, 1986.
Is this my reporter?
Yep.
I didn't say he on there, sorry. Michael Myers, who was found not guilty for his sister's death some 8 years ago, here in Hattonfield is now at peer review, and the young man still remains alive and haunted by the trauma he endured on that fateful Halloween night.
Newspaper clipping, Daniel Farron, quarterback hero, found guilty of Halloween triple murder.
Local boy Daniel Farron was found guilty of the 3 murders and remains incarcerated at the Haddonfield Maximum Security Prison, serving 3 consecutive life sentences for the brutal murders that shocked this small community.
Several different voiceovers interspersed across the soundscape as you drift across 2 articles from newspapers. Myers boy innocent, Myers boy still incarcerated, Myers boy found innocent yet dangerous.
He always seemed such a sweet little boy. Can't believe in my heart he could do this. It's just not possible.
Is Michael disturbed? Yes. Maybe even dangerous. But just how could a boy 7 years old use the precision of an adult surgeon? It's too difficult, impossible, to use a knife to carve out his sister's heart. I can't believe any child has that strength or precision to cut through a solid rib bones.
Farron's boy's prints matched the prints of the knife. Michael's prints did not even come up.
Dr. Chalice, Judge, I have spent 2 hours a day with him for the past 6 months, and although I have nothing to go on but my instinct and my hunches, I tell you, of all my past 15 years and all of my exploration of the human mind, Michael Myers may be the most dangerous person I have ever handled.
Damn it, Loomis, I told you I cannot run my court on hunches, coincidences, and anything but hard evidence. So unless you can come up with something he says or does, I'm going to seriously entertain the boy's release the next time you appear before me.
Music ends as we scroll to Friday, October 30th, 1998. Now. Smith's Grove, Warren County Sanitarium, noon. A large school bus is departing from the lot. We dolly back in through a large window, Loomis on the phone. A framed picture of his wife, Lilla, age 45, on his broad oak desk. Behind him several framed degrees, one master's from the Pleasance University of Psychiatry, Loomis's office.
I don't care what Dr. Gwynn says. I will be the minute he's checked in. What? Who? No, remember Judge Akadas passed away the night before his review on his 13th birthday. His successor was anything but sympathetic towards Michael. I provided him a 45-page dossier, and that's what has kept him locked away for the past dozen years. So we got lucky, my dear. We may not be so lucky the next time.
On a bus on a old highway in the afternoon. Inside the bus, several chained prisoners are seated. We dolly down the aisle, come to rest on one tall, stocky prisoner from behind. We can hear the same breathing from earlier. Michael Myers breathing. We pull on his left ear from the side.
It's time, Michael.
Michael's hands twist and the chain cuffs break apart. From the bus cab driver on the expressway, a large reddish-brown jackrabbit darts across the expressway. Wheels swerve, foot hits brake as we cut to asphalt, tires skidding as the bus swerves to avoid the rabbit, who is lucky and makes it across the dual line safely. The bus is not so lucky. It loses control of itself and begins to careen off-center through steel guardrails and comes right into the path of the gigantic silver shamrock masks and novelty truck, which blares on its horn, unsuccessfully smashing the front head of the bus sideways into a humongous wreck. Inside the bus, the camera's locked as prisoners fly up from the gravity as the bus rolls sideways in a great spinning motion. The bus finally stops rolling as dust swirls about. On the highway, the dust settles. An arm busts through the window of the bus, followed by the body of Michael Myers. He stands up and shakes the dust off himself. We can hear the other prisoners trying to get free and clamoring about. The wreckage is pretty severe. He makes his way over to the truck, buckling up slowly, and notices the costume logo. The truck driver, Nicky Castell, name tag, is 52 and a total hillbilly with a t-shirt that reads, "Y'all crazy." Jumps down from the cab and sees Myers.
Truck driver?
Holy bald-headed Jesus Palomina. Are you okay? You guys swerved right in front of me. Your bus is from Smith's Grove.
He races back into the cab, which is smashed pretty badly. Michael ignores him and walks to the back of the truck. He grabs a padlock and rips it off. He rolls up the canopy and sees a plethora of masks and costumes thrown about the interior of the truck. He climbs up onto the truck. Inside the truck, Michael's hands going through various costumes, masks, a pumpkin, a witch, a skeleton. He tosses them aside. He looks through many, but cannot find what he's seeking. Then he stops and freezes. Down, hidden below a Grim Reaper black gown, is a small white mask with no discernible feature. He looks at it with his black eyes and holds it up. The label reads, "The Face." His hand grabs a silver shamrock trademark on the back and rips off the label. He places the mask on his face. He grabs a black hooded robe labeled "Displays, size extra large." In a street accident, the truck driver setting flares out on a barren street as he uses his portable CB radio to make a call.
We got a serious accident here. I don't know how many casualties or injuries.
The prison guard shakily stands, having climbed out of the front window of the bus. On the street, dolly up to the shape steps off the back of the truck, garbed in a black cloak, his hood pulled up, framing the exquisite expressionless blank white face mask. The bus, lying sideways, the truck driver and the prison guard are trying to pull someone through a smashed window when they hear the road flare blazing. They turn and see the shape, mouths open wide in surprise. The shape stands there in his angel of death garb and neatly tosses roadside flare through the air, and it lands right in a gasoline leak drenching the asphalt street.
Oh, no, no, no.
The men scream as the fire cuts right through them, and then the entire bus explodes as a chain reaction of lightning fast fire consumes the vehicle in a rolling orange blaze. The shape turns and walks away from the massive explosion billowing behind him. Blowing around his back, cape, and hood is the type of image that is an epic and explosive as you will ever see, and the shape walks away without flinching or responding to the enormous shockwave inferno burning right behind him. Haddonfield, Main Street, late afternoon. Sheriff Leigh Brackett, 50, wearing a Smokey the Bear hat, steps out of the squad car and lights a cigarette. His lean and short physique has nothing on his confident body language. He puffs on it briefly and then tosses it away. On the street before him are several busy shoppers, and the entire place is crawling with Halloween decor. A Marcus Theater site sits across from the street, and up on the marquee it reads, "John Carpenter's Vampires starts today. Dirty Laundry, the haunted planet held over." His radio buzzes it, and he looks inside the car window. He reaches down and grabs the mic.
Yeah, this is Brackett.
Hey, Sheriff, I got an urgent call from a one Dr. Samuel Loomis.
Now, roger that. Put him through.
He holds waiting.
Is this Sheriff Brackett?
What happened to your 10-4?
10-4.
Is this Sheriff Brackett?
Yeah, this is. What can I do for you, Dr. Loomis?
Sheriff, it's very important you listen. There was an accident on the road on the way to Springfield. It was multiple transfers from Smith's Grove, Warren County Sanitarium.
I heard all about that on the radio about 2 hours ago.
Sheriff, I cannot stress to you the importance.
Seems like a bad accident. They're cleaning it up now. The state troopers will take care of it.
A patient on that transfer named Michael Myers, age 27, was on that bus. Now, I am not sure if the coroners will be able to identify all the victims of this terrible accident, but I can almost guarantee you Michael is not only still alive, but is a good bet he's responsible for all of this.
You telling me one of the patients did this?
I am, and I do believe he will be heading right to Haddonfield.
Wait a minute, how would you have any of this information? The state trooper said nobody survived the crash or the fire. Now, where are you exactly?
Sheriff, I am on the road on my way to you. Listen to me, Sheriff. This patient has been under my care for 20 years now. It's Halloween. It's the 20th anniversary of the Myers murder.
Yeah, so what about it? That just happens to be ancient history around here.
I need you to take me seriously and put out an APB on this Michael Myers. My office faxed your police station all of the stats.
Brackett looks around on Main Street nervously. He pulls out another cigarette and then realizes he is about to smoke it. Stops himself and puts it back away.
I'm not sure what you expect me to do here.
Well, I expect you to take this
So
seriously.
wasn't the Myers boy found innocent? The Ferentz boy is doing time for those 78 Halloween murder crimes. Myers. He supposedly shut down after he witnessed it.
The Farron's boy was innocent. Myers killed those 2 young boys and his own sister.
Oh, now come on. Look, see, I highly doubt a catatonic patient of yours is going to make 100 miles on foot. Even if there is some slim chance that he survived. I mean, both the crash and the explosion.
He was never catatonic, and I'm telling you, he will be there tomorrow.
Okay, well, I guess that means I will have to put out an APB and hire some extra deputies. And alert the National Guard. Dun 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 dun. Bring in the Marines. I gotta go, doctor. You take it easy now.
Sheriff Brackett, please, you have to take me seriously.
Brackett hangs the mic back up in his cab, turns around to see young teenage girl startling him as a Haddonfield high jersey.
Boo! Daddy!
This is Annette Brackett, age 17, high school senior, short and sassy with a brunette bob cut. She's flanked by her 2 best friends, Lori Strode, age 18, redhead, and glasses, also a senior, holding an armful of school books, and Linda Vander Klock, 18, blonde senior, but dressed as a cheerleader wearing orange and black floor paint striped across her face. She looks like a tiger.
You know, I hate when you sneak up on me. My reflexes could go into defensive mode.
Oh, Daddy, don't be such a dork. Lori has asked me to help decorate her parents' place for the big shindig tomorrow evening. Is it okay?
Lori?
We can give her a ride home right after, if that's okay with you, sir.
What does my wife say? Did you talk to your mother?
She said it was up to you.
All right, sure. Just let me know if anything changes. I know how plans suddenly go sideways when you 3 turkeys get together, especially you.
He points at Linda.
Why, I do no such thing. Girl like me is the gold standard for good behavior around this simple town.
As if. You get more detentions then.
Brackett's car radio goes off again. He reaches back in the window for his mic and takes it out.
Yeah,
Toward the trailer.
this is Brackett. I'm on the way. Listen, young ladies, I have business. And Annie, stop smoking the grass. I can smell it a mile away. Now stay safe.
Door slams. Brackett is in his squad car and drives off. Annie shrugs at Linda and Lori.
I guess he's got a good nose. What can I say?
Shows residence. Myers house at night. The old Myers house has gone through somewhat of a refurbishment. A different coat of paint, some aluminum siding, and voila. It's the same house from 20 years ago, just slightly updated for the 90s. Outside is a bunch of scary mannequins from Jersey Voorhees to Freddy Krueger, from Leatherface to Pinhead and Chucky. All sorts of crazy killers from the 1980s horror films adorn the front yard. We crane up into the front window and see Jamie Strode, 45, her daughter, Lori, decorating a Halloween tree through the glass with orange and black ornaments and all the ghostly trimmings.
Jamie? John?
Indeed, Mother. But who else has a Halloween tree?
Go back one, John. Jamie.
See now, when Christmas gets here, all we have to do is change the trimmings. Very clever and very creative.
Indeed, Mother. Who else has a Halloween tree?
Jamie?
Indeed, Mother.
We are
You
trailblazers.
got trailblazers. What can I say?
Living room, Annie and Linda are futzing around at the stairwell with large plastic heavy-duty bins. Doorbell rings.
How many guests are we looking at tomorrow night?
Jamie?
Mine's
Half the block. The Mackenzies, the Doyles, the Brennans, the Ellens. Can you get the door?
Lori opens the door and we see Bennett, Ben, Trammer, 18, a blonde jock with his friends, Paul Souls, and a bookish nerd type with taped glasses, age 17, Bob Howarth. A preppy looking rich kid, also 17, holding bags of food. The food is here! They move through the open screen door.
Just bring it in the kitchen, Three Stooges.
They walk by and Bob tries to grab at Linda's rear as she slaps at him.
Is that all you ever think about? Did you get my cigarettes?
Bob reaches into his windbreaker and pulls out her Virginia Slims.
Bob?
549.
Oh, come on. What, is chivalry dead?
You were lucky and taken IOD.
I think that's IOU, Bob. Put it on my house tab, jerko. I'd get more respect if it were the Middle Ages.
The kitchen during the day. The three girls and their respective boyfriends move into the kitchen and sit down. As Miss Strode gets down to handing out food from the bags, White Castles, it is a briefly chaotic moment until the food starts being eaten.
I hope they get the orders right. Last time they got it all wrong.
Besides, the sooner we get down here, the sooner we can get out and have some fun.
Halloween is tomorrow night. Ding dong. Ding dong.
Aha, it is. But tonight is the Devil's Night.
Is that why the Church of Jehovah is always saying Halloween is a satanic holiday?
Not exactly, Mrs. Strode. See, Devil's Night is traditionally the night before the Eve of All Saints.
Meaning?
Halloween Eve, tonight, the 30th. Somehow the timelines got mixed up. The original mythology behind All Hallows Eve is that the boundary between the land of the living and the dead grows thinner, and so people would costume themselves to scare off unwanted spirits. All Saints' Day is a holy day, while Devil's Night is not so holy. Halloween is stuck right in the middle.
Just don't get grounded tonight for breaking laws.
Wait a minute, I think we're missing something. Ben? Okay, Jamie.
Okay, genius. So how did, get all this knowledge up into your head brain?
Easy. I just listened during history class.
Totally.
Who gives a flaming dog turd about history?
Ben flings an onion ring onto Paul's face, and he flinches as the food hits him squarely in his clean glasses.
Just do not get grounded tonight.
I don't have
Yeah, we
that.
don't have that.
Where am I
After clean glasses.
at? Oh, yeah. Oh, I already read that.
Just do not get grounded.
Yeah. Just do not get grounded tonight for breaking laws.
Yeah, it was Paul.
And I'm telling you, that does not mean you
You're
have to
very
get out of,
serious.
oh,
We
you
have
have
some
to,
leeway.
and I'm telling you, that does not mean you have a get out of jail free card.
So let's just stop for a minute. For some reason,